So over the past 2 years, I have been learning how to build and scale faceless YouTube Shorts channels, and as of right now, I make about $7,000 to $10,000 per month off AdSense alone. Realistically speaking, I probably make about 1 or 2 new channels every single month, and I upload about 6 or 10 times a day. Those numbers can fluctuate. Sometimes I'll make more, sometimes I'll make less, but obviously it's taking me a very fucking long time to get to this point, and I feel like doing it by myself was one of the biggest reasons why it took me this long. Honestly, sitting here now, I feel like it's kind of simple how this all works, but you know, when I just started out, it really was fucking hard understanding the art of going viral and realizing that it's not actually just luck, and it really is just getting a system down and creating something that you can repeat over and over again. Now, obviously, after deciding to go all in on this for 2 years straight, I was able to get some decent results, but realistically speaking, I failed way more times than I succeeded. Right now, I'm currently running 8 channels that all vary in revenue, but that doesn't account for the amount of channels that I had to delete or just completely drop because it was not working. Overall, the past 2 years, I want to say I've made about 30 channels, and a lot of it was just trial and error and trying to figure out what worked. Well, once you finally start seeing the patterns, especially within the algorithm and understanding how to actually go viral, you can literally weaponize it and systemize the entire process so you don't have to spend hours and hours of your time just trying to figure out what works. So with this video, I'm basically going to be breaking down the entire process of how I build and scale multiple channels at a time. This is quite literally every single step that I take when I make a brand new channel, going from 0 to 100K. I'll show you real examples, real dashboards, and I'm going to show you my exact tools and systems that I use, starting from the complete basics going on to outsourcing and building multiple channels at a time. So this video is going to be pretty long, but there's going to be no gatekeeping. I'm pretty much going to be showing the entire process, walking you through the entire thing. So whether you're a beginner or you have some experience already with YouTube, this is literally going to be the entire thing you should be doing when you're starting a new channel. So whether you're a beginner or you have some experience doing this, like, you probably will learn something new from my experiences alone. So I wouldn't recommend just skipping through because there are a couple things in here that you might miss. So whether you're a beginner or you have some experience doing YouTube, I would recommend you watch the entire thing because I will be going over some points that I did not know when starting out. But with all that being said, let's just get into the full process of what I do when I start a new channel. So before you even think about going ahead and like picking your niche, your branding, all of that, you obviously need to make the channel first. And there's 2 ways of going about it. Honestly, they might have a slight impact, but realistically, this is the method that I do every single time, but I will go over both. So the first thing is we obviously have just making a new channel. So again, these are both screenshots from channels that I'm currently running. This one's an age channel and this one is a new channel, and I will go over both of those. But as you can see, they both have about 20 videos and the results are pretty similar. There is a like 3 million view difference, but there's not like any view jail basically. So when making a new channel, you can either make a new Gmail account or you can just add one to your existing like YouTube account. And to do that, you can literally just go to the settings on YouTube and then you can go to add or manage your channels. And once you get to this menu, you can just create a new channel under the same exact Gmail address. You can change the name and you can change the @ and you can pretty much make a fresh channel from here. Or if you want, which is usually what I do when making a new channel, just make a completely new Gmail, because again, if you have multiple channels connected to one Gmail, if one of them goes down or gets affected, the entire system is going down, so you will literally lose all of your channels. So that's usually something I wouldn't recommend doing, but you can do it if you really need to, or you just want to use it under one Gmail. That also means when you sign into that Gmail account, you will also be signed into every single other one that's connected to that account, so just keep that in mind as well. But this is usually what I do, and what most people do is just getting an age channel or making an age channel. So there's kind of 3 ways you can go about doing this. So first is usually what I do. I will make Gmails and channels ahead of time. So whether or not I have an idea or if I want to make a new channel right now, I will just make Gmails ahead of time. So pretty much at the start of every single month, I will make like 1 or 2 channels just so they can get warm. So I always have like channels to use. So the biggest thing here is that a lot of people say they need to be super fucking old and, you know, like 2008, 2015, whatever. Like this channel, I just had this channel. This was a very old Gmail that I had created already. In my personal experience, there hasn't been much of a difference by using a super old age channel and using a channel that was a couple weeks old, which is kind of how I got to my method now, which is pretty much just making Gmails ahead of time. This might just be a placebo, but for me, I usually like to make my channel and let it sit for about 3 weeks to a month. That is it. I know some people say let it sit for a couple days. Or even just like a day or 2. But honestly, for me, I let them sit for a couple weeks and I just either use them as regular YouTube channels or I'll just let them sit and then I'll start posting. That's pretty much the way I do it. I'll let a channel sit for about 3 or 4 weeks and then I'll start using it. But you can also acquire them. I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't know if it's against COS to kind of do that. But you know, if you're in my Discord, the free Discord, there's a link in my Discord to you get them. It's not affiliate link, by the way. I don't make any money from it. They're really fucking cheap too. If you want to do that as well, if you want to buy them, but you know, I don't think it's worth doing all that. You can literally just make a new channel and just let it sit for a couple of weeks. But realistically speaking, I don't really think it matters that much. The only thing I think does matter is making a brand new channel and then posting it the same day you made the channel. I don't think that is the greatest way to go about it. I do think YouTube really does not like when, you know, you upload a fuck ton of videos on a brand new channel. You know, it's going to take a while to get pushed out in most cases. But I usually just like to have it a couple months old. So I made this channel. This is the screenshot from before. I made this channel in November, and I think I posted my first video like a week or two later on the 20th or something like that. And I wasn't in view jail at all. My second video, I think this was it. As you can see, both of these videos in the first 24 hours, this one did 200K and this one did 75K. Completely missed view jail. I completely like bypassed it. Like they just completely took off. As you can see, these both are the 24-hour graphs. So this is literally just the first 24 hours of these videos. Both of these videos have over like 2 or 3 million views now at this point. But it just goes to show that it really does not matter in terms of like which method you choose. It really is just personal preference. This part isn't really that big of a deal. The only thing, again, I would not recommend is just making a brand new channel and start posting on it immediately. But that takes you into basically warming up the channel, as everyone says. Again, this is another controversial topic that a lot of people, you'll get a bunch of different answers depending on who you ask. But this is what I do. So I basically just use it as a regular YouTube channel. I know some people say like watch videos in your niche or whatever. But usually I don't even have a niche picked out at this point, so I will literally just use it as a regular YouTube channel. I'll watch long form videos, I'll watch shorts, whatever. You don't even have to use it that long. Really just kind of use it like a regular person. Use it as you would, you know, normally in your day-to-day life. And literally just let it sit for a couple weeks, and then you should be fine. You know, any chance of like getting like quote unquote shadow ban, that's not really a thing, but a lot of people like to use that word. The chances of your video just not getting pushed at all is pretty much slim to none at this point if you do it correctly. But once you go through this process, your channel should be fine and you should be able to move on to things like verification, which I'm going to go over really quickly. So if you go to your so inside of the YouTube studio, there is this thing called feature eligibility. So as you can see, I think this comes standard. Standard features is pretty much off rip. So basically you have all these features. Just you can upload videos, obviously you can make playlists, whatever. But these two are the ones that I'm going to cover basically. So you have intermediate features and you have advanced features. Intermediate features requires a verified phone number, and then advanced features requires a valid ID or video verification. But to first get the intermediate features, you need to verify a phone number. So if you are brand new to this, you literally can just use your phone number. But if you're like me and you have like, again, a bunch of channels, you can only verify a phone number twice, I think. But after that, you pretty much either have to use friends, family, whatever, any phone number you can get. But just like getting channels, you can get phone numbers for pretty cheap. There is a couple websites where you can just buy phone numbers and get the text message from there. And then you'll be fine. I'm not going to go over that again because I don't know if that's TOS or not. I already have 2 strikes on my channel, so I can't really show much when it comes to those third-party softwares that you can use. But once you do that, you'll be able to get custom thumbnails, live streaming, and videos longer than 15 minutes. So for shorts, this really is not necessarily a necessity. You know, if you want to have custom thumbnails, you can. I usually at the bare minimum do like to have intermediate features on my channel. Advanced features is not required. I know some people like to have all 3, but I don't. For me personally, you really don't need any of these until you're eligible for monetization. Once you get monetized, then you obviously need to do like tax information and ID verification, all that. So you're going to have to do this anyway. But if you're just uploading once a day, you really don't need this. And you can probably get it with channel history anyway. This little question mark here will tell you what to do. But basically, if you're able to just, you know, follow guidelines and not get any strikes or anything and just use the channel regularly and just post it like every day for up to 2 months, then you can just get advanced features automatically. That's what this channel that I'm uploading this video actually has. I haven't actually used my ID or video verification. I've just been using this channel for so long that I automatically have advanced features enabled. But realistically speaking, if you started posting shorts now and by the time you got monetized, you probably would have this anyway. So that's usually why I only have intermediate features enabled. But once you've gone ahead and done that, the next thing obviously is the branding. So the thing with branding, a lot of people do, again, look a lot deeper into this than they need to. The branding really is not that important as you would think. Don't waste your time doing this. You can have a banner if you want. I usually don't even use a banner with most of my shorts channels. I'll just make a profile picture. And again, it's really easy to make a profile picture. I'll show you how to do it real quick. But basically for the branding, you just want something simple, you want something clean, you want something easy to read. And that's pretty much it. So really quickly, if you have inspiration for like a channel that you want to use branding from, you could literally just use AI to like make a copy of it. So really quickly, I'll just scroll through my recommended just to find a channel. So let's just say you're making your channel and you have some inspiration, or you just, you need a simple clean picture that you want to use, right? Let's just use this channel, for example. You get the picture right here, right? You just download it real quickly. And now let's just throw it into ChatGPT, and you can ask it just change certain details. So like just make him have long blonde hair and a trench coat instead. And it'll generate you a new profile picture that you can use. As you can see, like in literally 3 seconds, ChatGPT generated us a new profile picture that we can literally just use for our channel. And it's that simple. It's the same exact style, but it looks completely different. So again, profile picture and branding don't really matter that much. The only thing that I would say that does have some kind of impact is the actual name itself. Obviously, you don't want to have some like really long or hard to understand name, because let's just say you do go viral. It's a lot easier for people to remember your name if it's, shorter, if it's clean. So that is one thing I would say. When you are making your name, I would make it something really short, minimal, easy to understand and easy to read, because that way if you do end up going viral and building a community, your name is very easy to remember, and people can remember it and send it to their friends, whatever it may be. But obviously as well, we handle this and take care of this and make sure that you don't mess this up in the one-to-one program. So that's pretty much just the first part when making your channel. It's pretty straightforward. This is probably, again, the easiest part. Obviously, I don't think that's a shock to anyone that, just making the channel and setting it up is the easiest part. But now we're actually going to get into the part that is probably the hardest and what most people struggle with. And it is just the niche in general, and how to find niches, how to pick the right niche, and how to make sure you're not just picking a niche that you're never going to go viral in because you're too late or something. So I literally tell this with every person that I teach, that the niche that you pick is literally going to determine whether or not you make money in the next couple months or not. Most people treat this like it doesn't really matter, and they just pick whatever's going extremely viral right now, and that's where they fuck up. You're not just picking what looks cool or what looks good to you, because this is the part where you need to be focusing on what the audience is actually demanding for right now. Most of the time, people are going to pick niches that look good on paper, but by the time they start making videos and posting and creating their channels, it's already dying. And by the time you figure out why your views suck or why your views are dropping, it's probably too late anyway. So one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give right now, if you want to start a new niche, is do something that you're interested in. People always like to just go to whatever's trending right now or whatever's blowing up, but you can honestly probably get a lot further if you literally just do something that you're interested in. It could be sports, it could be games, it could be shit like fishing or even history. It really does not matter. If you pick something that you're interested in, I guarantee you will see more success than just doing fucking Roblox brain rot or Roblox rants. And I'll kind of get into that more later down the video, but for right now, honestly, if you really, really want to see a better chance of success, then just pick something that you're interested in and you have like a hobby in, or even like maybe 1% more than other people do. That is literally your biggest advantage right now. But let's just say you want to find channels in certain niches, or you want to find a niche in general. There are 2 ways of doing it. One is free and one is just using a software. This is probably one of the only investments I would recommend you make when starting out on a YouTube channel. The rest of it you can do pretty much for free. But if you want to save hours of your time, then I would recommend you investing in this. But real quickly, I'll just show you how to do it for free. It's really simple. Just open up an incognito tab and go onto youtube.com. And now all you want to do is literally just scroll through shorts. If you just go down to shorts right here, literally, if you just press the shorts tab and you start scrolling, you'll be able to find channels that are, starting to pick up in the algorithm. For example, this one. But as you can see, you're also going to get channels that are pretty well established and have like hundreds of videos and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Those are technically channels that you want to stay away from, because these channels already have an established audience. They've been posting for a while now, so it's going to be harder to compete with channels like this. But basically all you want to do is just keep scrolling and scrolling through the For You page and see if you can find channels that are a bit smaller. But this is going to take a while because again, this is the shorts feed, so it's going to be pushing videos that are already hot from channels that are pretty much established already. But again, since this is the shorts feed, you're probably going to get pushed a lot of channels that are already doing well. But let's just say you want to niche down to this style of video, like the camera, the body cam footage, or like the but this is most likely also where you're going to see your first understanding of the algorithm. As you can see, the first couple channels that I just got recommended on the shorts feed were these like camera style videos. So as you can see, as I keep scrolling, I'm going to keep getting more of that same exact style, and YouTube is just going to keep pushing me channels like this. This one is brand new. So we technically just found a potential niche right here where it's more of like the security cam kind of fails. This channel only has 11 videos, but their most popular is sitting at 24 million right now, and a bunch of them have millions of views. So we just basically found a potential new channel that we can take inspiration from. But that's basically how the algorithm works. The longer you watch certain types of videos, the more YouTube is going to recommend them no matter the channel size. And let's just say you want to start over. All you want to do is literally just close the tab, open up YouTube again, and you'll start with a fresh shorts page and you can go from there. But let's just say you want to save some time and you want to, not scroll through shorts pages for, hours on end. You can literally just go to Niche AI. If you go to the tab here, to the YouTube tab, and you just click 7 days, you'll find a bunch of different channels that are trending right now, with trending videos that I've been posting like literally 2 days ago. This pretty much narrows down the competition by a lot. You will literally only pretty much see channels that have been, created in the past couple months or so. Like this is a rant channel right here. It's uploaded 5 days ago. It already has 400,000 views. You can watch it in here as well. Or if you just click YouTube, it'll take you right to the player. And as you can see, this channel only has 13 videos, but all their rants are pretty much going viral. This is pretty much like a brand new channel and all of their videos are already taking off. So instead of spending like, an hour or two scrolling, you can literally spend a couple minutes just looking through these channel lists. But those are pretty much the two ways you can go about finding niches. Either one works, just one is a little bit quicker than the other. But now really quickly, I do also just want to go over some really good tips for finding niches that I usually use. So arguably for me, the best two things that you can be looking at when you're trying to find a good niche is the channel age and the subscribers. Like I looked at before, if the channel age is like really young and they have a crazy amount of subscribers or they're getting an insane amount of views off rip, that means the chances of you starting a brand new channel right now and making content about that same exact topic, your chances of getting stuck in 10 or 30k view jail are pretty much zero at that point. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting stuck in the view jail and then eventually getting pushed out. But if you want to get monetized and start making money, obviously the best way to do that is just by, getting out of the view jail immediately. Because let's be completely honest here, if you try to make a Roblox rant channel right now and you try posting, you're probably going to get view jailed because again, you're literally competing with thousands of fucking channels right now that are uploading the same exact thing. Every time you upload a video, it's pretty much competing with hundreds of thousands of other videos that are being uploaded, not only right now, but like last week, last month, whatever. So it makes sense that you're going to get view jailed and you're going to flatline at 10 or 30k views. Whereas if you find a niche that is actually trending and actually has a demand for that content, you will not see that and you will get pushed out way harder than channels that are, uploading the same thing times 100. And thankfully, we actually found an exact example of what I'm talking about with this channel. So as you can see, they only have 11 videos uploaded, but pretty much every single one has gotten over 1 million views. They've had a couple of videos do like 24k and 28k, but besides that, the other like 90% of them have done over 1 million plus. So that means the demand for this content is still extremely high. Even though there is some competition occurring right now, there clearly is still a demand for this type of content. So that is, again, something that you want to look for. If you're seeing a bunch of new channels that are getting view jailed, then that's probably not a good sign and you want to find a different type of niche. Which again goes back to the point of, using your unfair advantages and, maybe picking a topic that you already know a ton about. So that way you have the knowledge so you're not competing with a bunch of tryhards that already know everything. And that is honestly one of the reasons why I'm able to blow up channels, is because I pick channels in niches that I know a lot about already. So again, whether it be history, whether it be fishing or cars or whatever, you should honestly pick something that you know a lot about, because as we get further into this video, I'm also going to be showing you how you can use exactly those advantages to your strengths. And just by doing this simple trick right here, you can literally save yourself hours of time, especially when it comes to making your actual videos. So make sure to stay for that part, because again, I will be showing you how to use this exactly to your advantage. But just to give you a basic idea of what kind of content does do the best, it's usually these three right here. So obviously you have commentary. There is so many different types of commentary channels that you can literally like find and look at. But if you don't know what what commentary is, it's literally just taking clips that have already gone viral or topics that are trending right now and just adding your own commentary over it. It's very simple to do, but it is quite literally the most effective type of content you can possibly make right now. You can pretty much take any topic you want and make it into a commentary video. The best part is that you literally don't have to make any footage yourself. You can find it on the internet and you're pretty much just throwing your own script over it and subtitles, and that's literally it. And it's arguably probably the most evergreen niche on YouTube that will probably never die. Just doing commentary about literally anything. I'm not even gonna lie, 90% of all my channels are just commentary channels. That's how much I rinse doing this, because it literally never dies. You can switch topics whenever you want. You can switch niches. You can, make channels in new niches. There's pretty much always some type of commentary that is going viral right now. And the proof is in the pudding here, because you can pretty much find a new commentary channel going viral like every single day. But that's probably my favorite type of content to do. But commentary niches are probably the most easiest and cost-effective type of content you can possibly do out of these three. And it's usually the one that I do focus on when I am teaching my students. But the next one is going to be AI generation. I'm sure you guys have already seen the crazy trends that have happened with the AI, whether it be the Sora or, the Kling 3.0, the skeleton niche, whatever it may be. They're very easy to set up and it's very easy to get a system going with them. But again, they are completely manufactured. In terms of cost, it does consume a lot of your funding, especially if you're starting out and you don't have a lot. It's not the greatest thing to do, because again, you have to mess with generations. You're not going to get the exact generation you want every single time. And credits cost a lot of fucking money, especially nowadays with the AI prices. I will say though, right now is probably the best time you can start creating AI content. I personally don't do it a lot because again, it is very time consuming and it does cost a lot if you want to create the best type of content. But there are literally channels popping up every single day in different types of sub niches, which again, we will get into in like 3 seconds. But basically a lot of these channels are just using things like Higgsfield to generate these 3D animated skeleton videos. But as you can see, these both are brand new channels. This one has 3 videos, 1.5 million views. This one has 6 videos, 2 million views, almost 10K subscribers. Latest video has done almost 2 million alone. And again, these are all completely generated with AI. So realistically speaking, if you are going to do AI, right now is the best time to do it. I would not wait any longer, because it is getting very competitive as well with how easy it is to now make AI content. But there are some cons to this that I would say. Number one is that you can get really lazy doing this. Especially, getting impatient and, understanding that AI isn't perfect. You can get really lazy. It's very repetitive too if you don't, add, things like commentary as well and editing. You can risk demonetization if you just do the bare minimum. It can get very repetitive, and especially with YouTube's new system, YouTube's new algorithm system with the AI shit. It's definitely a little bit risky if you don't, take precaution and you do edit it and you do make original content. That is the only thing that I would say is the problem with doing AI right now. I don't know why, but a lot of people just hate AI content, so they just won't watch it anyway. But I put this next one last because kids and brain rot content I never do anymore, because it's very trend based, it's very competitive, and you probably will lose your sanity doing it. It's not fun doing, and you literally will melt your brain making those types of videos. I usually never recommend doing it first as your first channel, but this usually falls under the brain rot or Roblox content. So things like Roblox rants usually are very brain rot, very kid oriented. So not only are the RPMs going to be significantly lower because you're most likely hitting a bunch of different countries and a lot younger ages. You actually also have to know a bit about Roblox to even make these videos. The best performing channels kind of already, they specialize in Roblox and they kind of know what they're doing. Me personally, I don't really play Roblox at all, so it'll be hard for someone that doesn't know anything about it either. Like all this steal of brain rot shit that's going viral right now, it's kind of hard to get into things like that. But don't get me wrong, the money is there, and if you are able to blow up doing Roblox, like go for it. You can make a fuck ton of money doing it, especially with long form or just shorts in general, like this channel right here. But if you're starting out and you don't know anything about it, I would not do like kids content. It's very mind-numbing and it's kind of frustrating to do. But I brought it up before a couple of minutes ago, and just gonna go over subniching, and this is honestly the key to making sure that you really do go viral and you're not just uploading basic content that is getting pushed out to a bunch of different people. So subniching is a term that a lot of people I feel like look over when trying to find the perfect type of content to make. And niching down can actually attract a dedicated fan base and a very passionate group of people. So let's just say, for example, you're doing commentary, right? But you want to do sports commentary. The concept is really easy to understand. It's not like rocket science or anything. Basically, like, let's just say you're doing commentary, you want to do sports commentary, then you niche down even more to baseball commentary. This is basically the sub niche, baseball commentary. You're basically just niching down as much as you can to find that dedicated audience and that high demand for content. Another example could be car commentary, doing luxury commentary, and then going into Tesla commentary or Lamborghini or Ferrari, whatever the case may be. That is just an example of sub-niching. And you actually see this pretty much every single day, and it actually exists in pretty much everything, you just don't actually realize it. So I'll actually just take one of the biggest examples right now of sub-niching. So with the Roblox rants, there is a brand new type of format going around that is basically the if I was. So a lot of the times they'll do like, if I was your charger, if I was your mom, if I was your sister, your brother, whatever the case may be. These would be the rules, and that's pretty much the sub niche that is going around right now, that is going insanely viral. And that's pretty much the basic idea of sub niching. You might not even just realize it. So yes, they are doing Roblox rants, but they're niching down to a specific topic, a specific idea, or a specific format. Another sub niche that is going completely crazy right now is also just the what if you were raised by. So a lot of people are doing like, what if you were raised by Vikings, in this year, or, in ancient Greece or whatever. This guy's doing anime. So he's doing what if you were raised by certain anime characters, which is pretty cool. But again, this is literally just a sub niche. It's anime, but the 3D skeleton concept. But again, this is literally just sub niching. That's exactly what this channel did to pretty much break out of any view jail there was. So obviously they're doing the 3D animated skeleton videos, but they also sub niche down to anime and this same exact format of what if you were raised. This is honestly the best example I could show you of how to properly sub niche. Again, this channel literally has 6 videos uploaded. They've already done 2 million videos. This channel literally only has 6 videos uploaded, and they already have 2 million views. They have over 2 mil. Almost at 10K as well in just 6 videos. So that is pretty much more progress than 90% of any channel that has, started in this niche. And they simply did it just by niching down and picking a sub niche. I am constantly tracking the best niches right now, and I'm constantly tracking the channels that are performing the best right now. And I actually put all of them inside of a folder that is updated pretty much every single month, and I give that to all of my one-to-one students, because by the time it is public knowledge on YouTube, it's probably too late anyway. And the reason I do this is because I want everyone working with me to make sure that they don't have a disadvantage from day one, and they are able to maximize their chance of going viral and getting monetized as soon as possible. The next part is honestly for me one of the easier parts, but for a lot of people it actually is a pain in the ass. I get a lot of people always asking how to source clips and how the best way to do it is. So now I'm actually just going to show you how to stop wasting your time and find the clips that you need to use, because for most people this is literally where they get stuck, and it's where their channel takes a really huge nosedive because they can't find quality clips, or they just they can't even find clips to use in general. So for me personally, I usually like to use other platforms to find clips, because the rule of thumb with me is if I get it on YouTube, it's it's obviously been posted already. So if I get the clip from YouTube and I post it back on YouTube, there is a chance that I might not even get pushed. So I usually like to use content that isn't originally from YouTube, and it's from different platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you name it. But these are usually the big 3 that I use. I will mostly use TikTok and Instagram, and then if I have to, I'll try to go on Reddit. But for the most part, these are the 2 biggest platforms that I use to get my clips. But quick side note, this is also where, again, I mentioned before, this is where having an unfair advantage comes into play. Because if you know more about a certain topic, you're able to recall viral clips and events that already happened within that topic or niche. So let's just say, for example, right, I run a football commentary sports page, right? And I want to source clips, but I need to get, funny moments or viral moments, right? Let's just say I'm a big sports fanatic, so already off rip, I'll know what events have already happened in the past, and I know what's going to go viral. So let's just say I want to make a video about, the craziest catch ever. See, me personally, I actually know a lot about sports, so I already know that, one of it is Odell Beckham one-handed catch, right? And I can literally just clip this up now, and I can make a commentary video about it. See, if someone who went into commentary and did sports and knew nothing about football, they might not even know this clip exists. But I already know this clip exists, and I know it's gone viral. It's got over 10 million views on YouTube. And that's exactly where having an unfair advantage comes into play. You're able to source clips a lot faster than most people because you already know what you're looking for. And this applies to literally anything. It could be cooking, it could be a different sport, it could be fishing, golfing, whatever the case may be. You already know what you're looking for because you know so much about it already. So that's why I always recommend people with hobbies or any kind of interest, just do a niche and pick a topic about something that you already know. That's another way I'm able to get ahead of the competition, because not only am I able to upload videos a lot quicker, but I'm also able to upload quality clips, and I know what I'm talking about. So if we go back to, again, this channel is doing anime. I would love to do a channel like this because it's blowing up, but personally I don't know anything about anime, so this channel is automatically probably going to outperform anything that I will ever attempt, just because I don't know shit about anime. I really don't watch it. But someone who does know a lot about anime, which is actually a lot of people, probably someone watching this video, if you know a lot about anime, this is literally a concept you can literally do yourself and probably blow up doing. Because you have that knowledge of anime and, you're able to structure your videos around these characters, like you already have an advantage. But anyways, that's just kind of a side note about why you should honestly pick something that you know about. But now we'll go into another way of finding new clips, for example, like body cam footage or camera footage, whatever you need, sports clips, etc. So I kind of went over this entire process throughout my last YouTube video, but just to go over it briefly again, basically what you want to do is just make new accounts on these platforms and then kind of search what you're looking for, scroll through, a couple accounts, like follow certain accounts in that niche. And then, as you scroll, the algorithm will kind of cater towards what you like, obviously. So you're going to get more and more of what you liked and followed. So for example, if you follow body cam videos or like police incidents, you're going to get recommended more and more on your For You page. I kind of went over that already all in my last video, but pretty much to sum it up, just make a new account, follow and like pages that are in your niche that, have the raw clips, and then you'll keep getting recommended those clips over and over again. And that way you'll be able to find your sources of clips. But just in case, but the biggest thing is you want to actually find the original videos, not the edited ones. And to do that, I know a lot of people struggle with this, but there is a way around it that, can sometimes work. So I'll just show it anyway. So let's just say you find a video and you want to find the original clip. All you want to do is try to find a good screenshot of the clip that you want and just image search it. So I'll just take this clip, for example. I'll just do this frame right here, and I'm just going to screenshot it. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw it into Google image search. And as you can see, I just put this frame in here, and now I actually found the original video right here. So this is just one way of finding the original clip. As you can see, this is the full video, but this is the original clip right here. As you can see, same thing from the short, where it starts right here. It's the same exact thing. So we found the original video just by image searching it. So that is a way you can actually find the original videos that you can clip up. And that way you can also find the best quality, because usually if you don't find the original videos, they're not going to be in the full quality that they were uploaded in. So that's honestly an underrated way you can find the original clips if you really need them. And that also ties in the two things that I put down here as well. Just make sure you have the best quality clips. If the clips are not good quality, don't even bother trying to make a video out of them, because having shit quality on YouTube never ends well. You usually want to have at least 1080p to 720p. And then even combining multiple angles if you can, every time, just make sure that you can find as many angles of, what you're getting as possible. If it's like a body cam video, try to find both POVs, both perspectives, whatever. Don't just stick to one, because, it'll help you a lot with editing. So that way, your videos won't drag out and you'll be able to cut to multiple shots. It'll help your video retention out a lot in the long run. But now that we've gone over the niche picking, this is one of the most important parts of the entire process. It doesn't matter what niche you're in at this point. If you don't get this part right, it does not matter. And it is the script writing. And I'm going to start by saying one of the most important things is that copying people's script is literally the worst thing you can possibly do, despite what people say, especially when you're starting out. Do not copy other people's shit. It does more damage to your channel and yourself than you actually think. I know this is crazy. A lot of people just say, oh, you can just throw it in ChatGPT and ask it to write your script. Like, no, don't do that. Please don't ask ChatGPT to just write you a script. It sucks. ChatGPT does not know how to fucking write scripts at all. I find it crazy that when people send me their videos and I can tell them like straight up, like, this is a ChatGPT script, they're actually shocked that I can tell like it is one. But it's literally so easy to tell when a script is written by ChatGPT. Don't do it. It sucks. You need to learn how to script write. You need to learn how to script write to be able to make good videos and to be able to last on YouTube. I'm sure you can get away with like one channel just copying and pasting, but to do it multiple times and to be successful like more than once, like, you're gonna have to learn how to fucking script write. I used to think like remixing people's scripts and just literally copying and pasting was completely fine. I would literally change a few words and basically rip off essentially the rest of their script. And I actually thought that that's how it worked. And, I was always wondering why people didn't like stay throughout my entire videos, but it's literally because like I'm just ripping off people's stuff that's already been done before. But one of the biggest things you need to realize when you start out is the first couple videos you upload on your channel are the most important. Like, it does not matter. You can have videos flop and have bad videos like further down the line, and it won't really affect your channel that much. But if your first couple videos are complete garbage, then your channel is literally cooked. Script writing is probably the thing that took me the absolute longest to figure out, and especially because I did it by myself, it was so much trial and error, but I have kind of gotten it down to the system. And that's what most of my students are struggling with the most, but it honestly is a very simple fix, and I will literally detect it and go over it in like minutes with you, and you will get back on track with it. Script writing is the thing that honestly took took me the longest to figure out, and it is quite literally the biggest pain in the ass when making content and starting out, but once you figure it out, it is so much easier to do. Inside the one-to-one, it's probably the biggest problem that I come across with all of my students, but we literally go over your entire script and I will literally point out everything that you're doing wrong, and we get people back on track so fast. And I'm not saying you can't use tools like Chat and Claude to assist you like you're supposed to use it, but when you're starting out, I really highly emphasize the fact that you should be learning how to actually write and understand a script before you even go on to use tools to make them better, or just analyze your style and, you know, be able to write new scripts. But I honestly think that, you know, learning how to script write is a key aspect of learning how to make, you know, YouTube content. But I'm not going to spend like 17 hours explaining every single minute detail, because especially with the shorts, it's really not that crazy. It's not rocket science. I kind of just broke it down to a simple process of basically your entire goal is just to get them to stay. It's nothing else. You do this by any means possible. And, you know, you have to understand the fact that you're competing with millions of people every single day on the YouTube Shorts feed. So your script needs to be as good as possible. I don't know why people half-ass this so much. You need to understand the fact that you are literally competing with thousands and thousands of videos being uploaded every single day for people to see on the Shorts feed. So getting people to stay past the first 3 seconds is so important for your videos. And what I mean by do this by any means possible is you can over exaggerate, you can rage bait, you can target, you know, certain feelings or emotions. You literally do whatever you need to get people to stay past those 3 seconds. All publicity is good publicity. It doesn't matter if you're getting hate in the comments. It doesn't matter if people are triggered in the comments. It does not matter. It just gets your video pushed out to the algorithm. Comments are comments, whether they're good or bad. It will get your video pushed out into the algorithm. And again, since these are all faceless, your identity isn't out there. You have nothing to worry about, and you have nothing to lose by, you know, saying stupid shit or making, you know, crazy hooks. But I kind of broke down the entire process of scripting the hook into a simple sentence or two. So basically, just do this. Your hook is gonna look like this. It's gonna be challenge the viewer with one statement or a question, and then get into the main body paragraph. And as long as you nail the hook, you are able to kind of, you know, just let the rest of the main paragraph kind of flow, and you just spend the rest of it explaining what you're doing. As long as you nail the hook and get them to say those first 3 seconds, the rest of the script is really just explaining like how you got to that statement or question. And I'll go into more depth in like 2 seconds. But you can literally do this with anything. So here I just have some examples. Why is drinking water actually bad for you? That gets people to stop and think and wonder, like, what did this guy just say? It's going to get them to stop scrolling. That is your whole goal here. It does not matter. It does not matter what you say. Another one. This guy broke his leg so he can be taller. What does that even mean? How are you going to get taller by breaking your leg? Shouldn't it be the other way around? It gets people to stop and think. Popping pimples can actually kill you. It can. People don't know that. You're questioning what they actually think. You're questioning their prior knowledge, their beliefs, and you're basically trying to prove them wrong the entire video, or they want to watch the whole video so they can prove you wrong, vice versa, whatever. Why do cars never explode when they crash? Even though, you know, you see it in the movies all the time, cars exploding and shit like that. They don't actually explode in real life, but a lot of people believe they do. You're literally just you're challenging the viewer. You're making them question their knowledge and question themselves. You're getting them to stop and think for a second. A lot of people on Shorts and TikTok are just doom scrolling. Their brain is literally turned off. So if you can get them to just turn it on for a second and actually stop and think, you win. You literally win. You're gonna get better results than 90% of every single creator. So really quickly, I'm just gonna take one of these points and I'm gonna break it down and write an actual script from it and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll just do the first one because I think it's a good point. Why is drinking water actually bad for you? It's very vague, but it's still technically true as long as you put context behind it, right? You just need the context. You're giving them the hook, but you're not giving them the context for it. That is basically the whole thing. That is how you're able to over exaggerate and kind of make these crazy claims, as long as you just leave the context out and explain the context throughout the video. So I'll show you exactly how to do that real quick. So here's the main hook statement. Why is drinking water actually bad for you? Then we're just going to go on to say most people think that staying hydrated and drinking water is healthy and good for you. I can't spell, sorry. Healthy and good for you. So that's our second sentence. Fuck. So now we're just gonna follow up and give context. Now we're getting so now immediately after our hook sentence, we're gonna start giving context and start, you know, challenging the viewer even more. Most people think that staying hydrated and drinking healthy is good for you. Right? You're relating to the viewer, you're making them question what they already know. But did you know that people have actually died from drinking water? Again, we're keeping them hooked in, we're keeping them questioning, and we're giving more context. Now we're telling them that people have died from drinking water. We're adding context to our statement. So now here's the point where if you know a lot about whatever you're talking about, you can go on and, continue the story. I don't know exactly who has died. I've heard it before, so now I'm going to have to do a little bit of research. But let's just say this is about sports or something and you already know what you're talking about. You can just continue on writing the script about what you know about. But since I don't know, I'm going to have to do a little research real quick, so give me a sec. So now I have my source real quick, so I just added it in. In 2007, Jennifer Strange died after drinking nearly 2 gallons of water in less than 3 hours, which caused her to suffer from water intoxication and her brain swelling up from drinking too much water. Despite what most people think, water can actually be unhealthy depending on how much you drink. It's as simple as that. Now, obviously, you can add to this and make it a little bit longer, but I just kind of wanted to get the point across of how easy it is to actually script write. You are literally just challenging the viewer and filling in the context throughout the entire script. Literally, all you need is a hook that kind of challenges the viewer and gets them to think, and then you just fill in the context throughout the rest of the video of what your point is. And then at the end, you obviously have the payoff. So you say, despite what most people think, water can actually be unhealthy depending on how much you drink, which is true. So technically speaking, water is actually bad for you, and you just proved your point. But throughout this entire script, we kept it engaging, and we kept the viewer wondering what was going to happen because, again, we questioned their knowledge and we had them, stop and really understand what the hell I just said. And throughout this entire script, we gave them context to what I was saying. There wasn't a boring moment. There wasn't any filler going on throughout the entire script. We got down to the point and we did not skip over anything. And this is what I mean by you can literally do it with anything. I literally just wrote a script about fucking water. Like, that's how easy it is to apply this to whatever you're talking about. And this just kind of reiterates what I'm saying. You just have to have good pacing. You don't have to go into every single little detail. Just get the point across unless it's necessary for the context of the story. So let's just say the script is a little bit longer and I want to shorten it, right? We can just say, instead of Jennifer Strange, we can say a woman died. Because again, we're just getting the point across. A woman died after drinking too much water. It doesn't really matter who or what their name was, as long as we get the point across that someone died drinking water. That's how you shorten scripts. You don't just cut out whole sentences that get rid of context. You just simply get the point across in simple terms. So for example, you also wouldn't take away 2007 because it adds context and you need that fact to back up your statement. We also kept each point we're making to a sentence or two. We kept each fact and detail about a sentence long or two. And then again, we had a quick ending, or sometimes I have no ending at all to the video. So that way you don't let people know the video is ending and they won't swipe away. You want to make sure they keep watching for the entire percent of the video. And as you notice, I also didn't add a CTA. I don't really add CTAs. If my video goes viral, I'm going to get subscribers anyway. I don't really do CTAs. You can do them, but personally, I never do CTAs. I've gotten 100,000 subscribers in 2 months without doing a single CTA. So me personally, I'm not a CTA person, but that's literally up to you. I don't do CTAs. If you don't know what a CTA is though, it's call to action, like and subscribe for more, like if you ever drank too much water, whatever the fuck that may be. It's just a call to action, get them to subscribe. I never really do them though. But once you understand the actual basics of writing a script like that, then you can start using, softwares like Claude to assist you and help you with writing scripts. So let's just say I now want to start, producing scripts a bit more efficiently, and we have kind of our style established, right? I'm just going to simply type in. Now I'm just going to have Claude analyze the script and note the hook style, pacing, and phrases, and I'm just going to now have Claude analyze the script that I just wrote. I'm just going to have it analyze it, and it'll kind of note everything that I did about it. And now all I'm going to do is just have it write me a new script about, let's just think of something like how bananas are radioactive. We'll just have it write a script about why bananas are radioactive. And now it's going to write me a script about bananas in the exact same pace and style that I just wrote. But we're not done there. We're not just going to copy and paste this script into 11 Labs or whatever. We're actually going to just edit it. Sometimes I'll edit it in the chat and I'll copy and paste it, but for this I'll just say, we'll just paste it into Notepad, and now I'm also just going to look over it. I'm going to edit it, because now that you have this base script, now you can just use the skills that you learned and you can just edit and tweak the script to make it sound what you need it to sound like. And that is exactly how you use Claude as a tool and an assistant to help you write scripts. And that's how you save time with it. You're able to now generate scripts in your style, and now you can just look over them and edit them using, again, the points that I just made. And once you're done with that, obviously, now we have to go over the actual voiceover part of it, which is pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward, but I will go over, how I do it. Getting the voiceover is pretty straightforward. I wouldn't recommend anything else besides 11 Labs. You can get like 10,000 credits free anyway. So there really is no point of using any other software besides 11 Labs. But on the off chance that you are interested in actually just voicing them over yourself, you can just use softwares like OBS. But if you are interested in actually just, bypassing that completely and making these videos for free, you can literally just voice them over yourself. You can use OBS Studio. That's what I use to record pretty much everything. That's what I'm using to record this video. It's really simple. It's just a software that you can use to record your screen and everything like that. I'm not going to get too much into the details. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet that shows you how to use OBS. They're like 5 minutes long. But funny enough, this is actually the same exact formula that I use for pretty much all of my channels to this day. This is just one example of me using this on a video. It's gotten 1.3 million views. If we go to the 24-hour though, no view jail. 200,000 views off a rip, and this was one of my first videos that I uploaded. It really is that simple when you figure it out, and it helps so much getting your videos pushed out. And this also goes to show that I'm not showing you information that I don't use anymore. I literally use every single thing in this video, like, to this day. So moving on to editing, it's honestly where most people feel like they need to spend most of their time doing, and it's honestly why they get burnt out. But since we went over the process of making good hooks and good scripts, and we're not just half-assing it, the editing kind of does not have to carry the load here. In my experience, editing actually isn't as important as people make it out to be, especially if you have a good topic, a good niche, and a good script. As long as you have those three things, the editing literally can take a backseat. Like, I'll just show you an example of one of my older videos that I've been uploading. So I'll just give you an example of like one of the videos that I uploaded on my channels a while ago. This is the only timeline that I had in CapCut. I usually use Premiere, but I'll just keep it simple and show it in CapCut. But this is really how simple my timelines look. It's really simple. There's only 4 layers. I know people always like to claim like you need a bunch of fucking layers, a bunch of sound effects, all of that. If you have a good script and you have a good niche, like, the editing really does not have to carry the video at all. I used to honestly spend like 4 or 5 hours per short trying to make it perfect, but especially when you're starting out, this is the process that takes the most amount of time to do. The rest of it will probably only take you like an hour or two, but editing will take up the most amount of time, especially when you're starting out. And that's where a lot of people start to quit, because if you edit a video for like 4 or 5 hours, post it, and it doesn't do that well, you're literally gonna want to quit. Every hour you spend over editing is an hour you didn't post, an hour you didn't spend making a new video or finding new ideas. And honestly, consistency is what builds these channels, and if you're spending 4 or 5 hours a day editing, then it's not going to happen. All of the channels that are doing really successful right now most likely aren't out editing you and are just performing better in every other aspect, like script writing and niche picking. And that's something we also heavily focus on in the one-to-one, is how to properly edit your videos. And I literally show people my exact editing workflow and how to properly do this, but I'm also going to give you some quick tips here, this basic guideline to follow, because honestly, editing should not be that complex. So honestly, the 3 main things are just retention editing, don't over edit obviously, and just keep it simple. Transition clips, sound effects, camera movement, things like that. Visuals to help the viewer, just don't overdo it. So again, like arrows and circles. But again, just let the script do most of the work to guide the story. Realistically, there should be an edit every 1 to 3 seconds. It has 1 to 2 seconds on here, but honestly, I think you'll be fine with 1 to 3 seconds. But one of the most underrated things on here, I think, is actually framing the clips, and I'll show you what I mean by that on my CapCut timeline. So as you can see in this clip, I zoomed in a lot to make sure that the boy was actually in the middle of the frame, which I see a lot of people forget to do with commentary or just clipping channels in general, is that they forget to put the subject in the actual frame. So most people just leave it like this, and I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at a patch of grass. If you zoom in the clip right here and you actually get the subject in the frame, then you're actually able to make a better video and have the viewer know what they're looking at. Obviously, again, we have our arrows to kind of point out what's going on and just add that visual stimulation. But we also have pretty much an edit every 1 to 2 seconds, whether it be a zoom, a clip cut, or a zoom out, a sound effect, and a visual effect here. And then obviously we have our subtitles as well. But these are all things you want to follow when you're editing. You don't just want to have the entire clip play with no cuts at all. That's usually also how you get repetitive content violations, reuse content violations. If you're not cutting up the footage enough, if you're not editing it and adding any kind of extra content or value to it, it's very easy to get repetitive content and reuse content as well. It's also good to make presets of, things like subtitles and, overall just things that help with the style of your videos. It is best to stay consistent. Don't use different fonts every single time you upload. Stick to the same type of editing style, use the same types of, images or like, the arrows and shit like that. Don't be using a bunch of different shit every single video. YouTube rewards consistency in every way possible, whether it be uploading, editing, titling, whatever it may be. Just make sure that you're staying consistent with your editing style. That is another big thing I see a lot of people fuck up with. Their editing style is all over the place. Every single video looks completely different, and I don't know why people do that so much. But realistically speaking, editing does not have to be that complex. It's just literally cutting up the original clip and then just adding all these things on top of it. Just make sure you don't have the original clip play. That's the biggest thing I would say. Just cut up the clip, please. Video length does not really matter in this instance. I know people like to make a big deal about that, but realistically speaking, like the length of your video does not matter as long as it's like, 20 or more seconds. If it's a little bit shorter, it might not get pushed out as hard, but in my experience, it really does not matter what the length of the video is. It can be, a minute, 3 minutes, 20 seconds. It does not really matter. It doesn't really affect RPMs or anything. But if you guys haven't noticed, learning how to keyframe is also very important to make sure your videos are, the best quality they can be. I see a lot of people refuse to learn this, even though it takes 3 seconds to do. So as you can see, this arrow pretty much moves along the screen with the cat. It adds that kind of visual stimulation and also adds, a bit of quality to show that the editing is there. And it's very easy. So I'll just show you for the people that don't know how to keyframe already. I'll just delete the arrow right here and I'll just do it again. So once we have our arrow here, literally just going to adjust the size and position to be pointing at the cat right here. And then all we're going to do is let's go to the first frame real quick. We'll just press the diamond right here that says position, rotate, whatever. We'll have it adjust. And then now we'll have it track the cat. So when it starts moving, we'll start it right here. And now we'll just have it track the cat. So every time you move it and adjust it, the keyframe will save. So now we can just have the cat followed by the arrow. So now we'll just have the cat basically being followed by this arrow every single time we add a new keyframe position. Like this. So now once we do that, we'll adjust the rotation a little bit. Now we'll just cut it because we don't want to have it on the screen too long. So now I'm just going to mute the voiceover because it's annoying. Oh, that's the wrong one. We'll just do this. As you can see, now the arrow is literally being tracked onto the cat. Like that. It's really simple. It takes 3 seconds and it adds so much to your video instead of just having a static arrow on it that doesn't even move with the cat. Keyframing is honestly really easy. CapCut makes it super easy to do. So if you don't know how to keyframe, I would honestly recommend you learn how to do that when you're editing. But this also goes back to the point I was making before of getting multiple angles of the situation. That makes sure that you don't let the clips drag out. If you can get multiple angles or clips to show the same thing, you can kind of use them to create different cuts and different types of angles and uniqueness to your video. So again, this way you're not just letting one clip play throughout the entire process. And again, you could run into violations like reuse content or repetitive content. If you can literally just find 1 or 2 more clips of the same exact, situation, you're already ahead of the game and you can also create, unique videos compared to other people that are literally just using one clip and just playing it throughout the entire video. So we've pretty much gone over and covered the biggest points of the video. Now I'm going to more focus on the smaller parts and aspects that happen after you start uploading. Now obviously we have posting. I shouldn't have to say this, but unfortunately you just have to stay consistent. That's the biggest issue that most people deal with, is just staying consistent, uploading every single day. You need to be uploading at least once a day, if not once every other day at the bare minimum. That way, YouTube can start to push your channel out and push your videos out. You can't really do much if you have 1 video a week. At the bare minimum, you should be uploading at least once every other day. This unironically should be the easiest part, is literally just pressing upload every single day. But for some people it isn't. But also here's just some do's and don'ts of, when you do start your YouTube channel. Do not ever spam uploads. Don't upload like 3 times in one day on your first day of the channel, especially not in a brand new channel. You never want to do that. Also, another thing, a lot of people don't switch niches after 3 uploads. I don't understand why everyone gives up after the first 3 videos. If they get stuck in view jail, it's fine. It's really not a bad sign. A lot of people think getting stuck in view jail is like the end all be all, but realistically speaking, it just means your channel needs time to get pushed out. A lot of channels start out in view jail and then they'll eventually take off. Not every single channel is just going to break out, which is completely fine. It might take a couple of videos to break out of view jail, but that's completely normal. Don't expect success after your very first upload. Now, obviously, next, I don't know why people always think this, but don't delete content. It doesn't matter what the situation is, if it flopped or not, if it got 0 views or not. don't delete videos. It does not fucking matter what happened to the video. It doesn't matter if it flopped or not. You can still upload again and have the potential to get the video pushed out. Next thing is obviously don't have shit quality. Upload at least 720p, but preferably upload at 1080p at 25 bitrate. That's just what YouTube's guideline says. If you just look up YouTube upload settings, you can literally find this whole guideline that basically says the recommended settings, especially because a lot of people are going to be watching on mobile phones. They really don't want to be uploading these massive videos that take up a lot of like bitrate and connection. I usually do it at 25, but this actually says you can do as low as like 10 megabytes per second. So as you can see, these are pretty much all the guidelines you need to follow if you need help with like, settings and what to upload at. But as you can see, none of them really go over like, 50 or 60 megabytes per second unless you're uploading at 8K, which I don't really see anyone doing. Realistically speaking, you don't have to render your videos at that high of a bitrate. Like quality, it kind of cuts off at 25, especially on iPhones. You don't really see a difference past that. But this is just like a basic template on what you should be following. So if you are curious about that, realistically speaking, you really don't have to render past 25 MB. That's just kind of like a baseline though. I wouldn't really go past it. But once you conquer pretty much all of that, now you have to build consistency. One of the biggest things I always emphasize is setting goals for yourself, not just having one big goal of hitting, 100K subscribers or getting monetized. You always want to have those simple goals that you can hit yourself, every single day or every single week, whatever it may be, getting, this amount of views every single day or averaging this many subscribers or, I want to hit this many subscribers by the end of the week, whatever it may be. If you start today and if you've never done YouTube before, think about where you could be in 3 months if you just locked in and you uploaded and posted every single day. You literally, in this space, you literally cannot go backwards. It's literally impossible if you start from zero. So just keep that in mind when starting. There is literally no other direction to go but up, especially with YouTube Shorts. Everyone figures it out at some point. So, it just depends when and how fast you reach that point. And again, with this video, hopefully that kind of cuts out a lot of the time you spend doing that. But some things that help me as well is just make a schedule for yourself, kind of tell yourself, I'm going to upload this video now or later at this time, and then I'm going to also create new videos, at this time, whatever it may be. Just create a schedule for yourself so that way you're able to be consistent. That's also how a lot of people kind of, give up, is they're inconsistent, they're lazy, they don't have a schedule for themselves. If you force yourself to upload at the same time every single day, you're going to be able to do it and upload more efficiently. And of course, obviously, you need to stop fucking comparing yourself to everyone else. Obviously, some people will take off quicker than others. It's just how it is. It's how life is. It's how literally everything in life goes. You always suck at everything the first time you do it. It takes time. Some people pick it up faster than others. Some people don't. Some people it takes them, longer. Fucking what, Tom Brady? What, he's a fucking, he was drafted like the 6th round by the fucking Patriots. Now he's the GOAT. But I'm getting off topic. I don't know why I brought that up. But shout out Tom Brady. If you learn from your failures and you stay consistent, there is literally no possible way you could fail unless you really want to. The biggest thing that I say all the time is you can't put someone on that doesn't want to be put on. If you really want this shit, then you can do it. It's literally not you don't need any qualifications. Literally anyone can do this. I've seen people that are younger than me and 40 years older than me be able to do this and monetize it. There's quite literally nothing stopping you besides yourself from being consistent doing this. But once you get to actually scaling and building, it really is just a couple of main principles of just copying what's working. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. I see a lot of people do this. I don't know why so many people come to me and ask me why their content sucks after they completely switch up what they're doing. They have a video do somewhat decent and then they immediately start doing other shit. I don't know why that happens so much, but literally it's crazy because I remember last week someone asked me like, what's wrong with my content? I said, bro, this video did really well. Why did you stop doing it? He's like, oh, you're right. Like, I don't know. Is that not common sense at this point? I don't know. Maybe it isn't, but if you see something working and it's gone viral, it's gonna go viral again. That's how the YouTube algorithm honestly works. It rewards things that I've already done well before. So if you have a video do really well, copy the editing, copy the script style, copy literally everything you can without repeating the same video and making it repetitive, if that makes any sense. Also, you shouldn't be scared of experimenting with this type of stuff. Obviously in the beginning you want to start by doing something that's obviously proven to work. Again, so that's why finding niches that are already doing pretty well and are kind of starting to sprout is ideal for starting a new channel. But once you get past that point of building consistent viewership and consistent viewers, then you're able to experiment, because once you have those first videos established already and YouTube trusts your channel and the algorithm, then you can start experimenting, and it doesn't matter as much if you have a flop or not. So just for an example, I had a video do 5,000 views while I was experimenting with different types of formats. And most people right there would be like, oh, my channel's dead, like it's over. I had a video do almost 4 million a couple of videos later. And that's because this channel has already been established. I already had plenty of viral videos, so I didn't mind experimenting and having that video flop, because I knew it doesn't matter at this point. The algorithm will push my video out if it's good or not. So that's why it's always good to experiment and see what new could work, so you can get ahead of the curve. But once you do that and you start rinsing what's working, literally it is free views, it is free money. And it is literally the greatest feeling ever. Like, once you find something that really works and you just keep rinsing it as much as you can. That's really all YouTube Shorts is. It's just rinsing what's working over and over again and then finding the next new thing. That's pretty much all it is. But don't worry, I'm also going to talk about the graphs. I left this for last because it really isn't that big of a deal. A lot of people always obsess over the 80% state to watch, but realistically, it'll go under 80% regardless if it goes viral. Obviously, you want to aim for the highest state to watch you can, but as your video gets pushed out to newer and newer audiences, the state to watch is going to go down, because it's going to get pushed out to people that aren't as interested in your topic as other people would be, because again, it's going viral, it's getting pushed out crazy in the algorithm, so it's obviously going to get pushed out to other audiences that might not be as interested as your main audience. But obviously, a good rule of thumb is to aim for the 80% state to watch, and then eventually it might get pushed out even further. But it's just how YouTube works. Once your video gets pushed out to broad audiences, all your stats are pretty much going to drop. The only thing that really wouldn't drop is the graph. That's why I prioritize the graph over everything. The retention graph is what you honestly want to aim for, not the view versus swiped away. It's going to drop regardless, so I wouldn't really obsess over it. I would obsess over the graph. You want this to stay over 60%, and you want this line to be as straight as humanly possible. The straighter this graph is, the higher chance that you're going to be able to get your video pushed out. The rest of it doesn't really matter, just focus on the graph. This video right here, I don't even remember how, it has a couple million views, but look how straight the graph is still. So that's the biggest thing, your video will get pushed out to millions of people. But as long as you can keep the graph straight, that'll pretty much guarantee it. So now we're on the point of actually multiplying your channels. And the reason why, honestly, you want to have multiple channels, and why I run so many channels, also why I create new channels pretty much every single month. A lot of them are obviously trend-based as well, but just having one channel is honestly risky and limited. Think about it. I'd honestly rather have 5 channels combined making me 15K a month than just one channel making me 20K a month, because channels literally die all the time on YouTube. And if you have one big channel just die out, and that's pretty much it, you're not going to be making money. I would rather have one channel die out of my 7 and still be making consistent income, and that channel can just be replaced by outsourcing. So that's honestly why you want to have multiple channels. But again, this is a point you should be reaching once you are able to monetize 1 or 2 channels. I wouldn't worry about running multiple channels at once if you're just starting out. But it doesn't really matter what you do. It could be the different niches. It could be the same exact niche that you're already in. You can have multiple channels in it. It really doesn't matter. As long as you get monetized and make money, you want to turn this into basically a business and scale it as much as you can. YouTube really is just a business, like all other things. It could be an entertainment platform, but for me, it's a business. I treat all my channels like a business. I treat everything like a business with YouTube. So if you are serious about YouTube and you want to make it, an income, then you should treat it exactly like a business. And just like all businesses, again, you have schedules, you have consistency, you have timelines, everything like that. You want to treat it like a business, which kind of brings us into outsourcing as well. I'm not going to get too much into it because it's pretty straightforward, but mostly the platforms I use is Fiverr and Upwork. You can find pretty cheap editors on there. You can find video. You can get videos done for like $10 to $15 each. It's pretty nice, especially when you get monetized and you start making that money and you're able to outsource and reinvest back into your channel. It's a nice thing to have. Me personally, right now, I don't really make any of my videos anymore. I used to make a lot of them, but now I don't really make any of my videos anymore. So I spend pretty much only like an hour or 2 a day just script writing all my videos, and then I just send them to my editors, and that's pretty much it. One thing I don't see a lot of people doing is getting into harder niches once you get more capital. So like 3D animation niches, those things blow up all the time because again, there's not a lot of people doing them because you need to know how to animate. But if you just hire animators, then you kind of bypass that whole problem and you're able to set up channels in these like much more complex niches that a lot of people aren't in. So you're able to just basically print money and you're able to get more money. And this is a prime example. Pretty much every dollar that I made from this channel has been reinvested back into my other YouTube channels. This is like one of my This was honestly one of my first monetized big channels. As you can see, I made over 170 grand from it, but I'd say about like 60% of it has been invested back into other channels to make me even more capital. This was honestly the stone for basically building up all of my other channels. And even though I probably could have just took all this money and did whatever I wanted to do with it, I actually just reinvested it because, again, having one single channel is like honestly a huge like risk for failure. I've seen people literally lose everything because they put all of their time into one channel and then they don't know where to go from there. It's not really a matter of something happens to your channel. It's more when it will happen, because it probably will. If you have any idea how the internet works, then obviously things are going to die eventually. It's pretty obvious by now, but the people who are making the most money with this obviously aren't running one channel. It's pretty obvious by now, but most people who are making a lot of money doing this aren't just running one single channel. They literally figured out the same exact system that I'm trying to show you, and they scale it to multiple channels to be able to create, multiple streams of income. And that's obviously something that we're building towards in the one-to-one. So, it's one thing building one channel and monetizing it, that's all great, but it's repeating it and doing it multiple times that a lot of people struggle with. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to cover in the one-to-one mentorship. It's being able to scale channels yourself after you get that first one. So then once you get a channel like this, you're able to literally just scale it into other channels like this and just generate multiple sources of income. And inside the one-to-one, I literally give people my channels to copy, and they actually outperform me. This is one occasion where one of my students actually outperformed the channel that I gave them. It was my channel, I let them copy it, and they went ahead and pretty much outdid me in every aspect possible. But this is Jacob. He sent me his dashboard. This was from a couple of months ago, and he made $16,000 in 90 days. And the funny part is that we have the exact same channel. This entire board is literally everything that I know about shorts and everything that I follow when I make a new channel. This is literally it. There's nothing else that I don't know about shorts in here. The reason I'm making this video is because I know a lot of people aren't actually going to do anything or apply this properly. So if you watch this video the whole way through, it shows that you're actually committed to doing this properly. And if you have watched this far, you might be the type of person that would want to join my one-to-one accelerator program. But if you haven't heard about what it is, basically I am taking a very small group of people to work with one-to-one to build and scale their channels. It's not a bullshit course or community. I'm literally working with you one-to-one for 6 months straight. You get access to my whole trained network of people. We'll choose a whole niche, we'll get your videos edited, and I will pretty much guide you in the exact direction you need to go to get to where you want to be. The list honestly goes on. There's so many bonuses and other stuff you get as well when you sign up, but the application is in the link in the description. So if you are interested in working directly with me on your channel, you can literally just click that link down below. But that's pretty much it. That's the entire video. Again, I upload these every single week, so if you want more information for free, just press subscribe. I upload these videos all the time, and I will see you guys in the next video.